Live from Los Angeles, welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jessica Moyer. This is Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, now also available on Apple TV and Roku.
That's right. Today is Wealth Wednesday, and we're talking about money, how to take back your power. It's time. We have given it away. We have talked about, handed it over, thought about money being more powerful than us, but the truth is, you are the power. The power is within, the innovations within. We're going to awaken that today, knowing that we come together each morning to know the truth, live on spiritual principle, and live in alignment with universal law, as together we say, and so it is.
So it is.
Hashtag Wealth Wednesday. I'm so excited to welcome our special guest to the show. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm so excited to get to talk to them a little bit more today. Lewis, you've got the mic, master in positive psychology. We want to know, how do you start your day to really set off your mindset?
Well, it depends on the day, but on a good day, I wake up before my alarm. I love that when that happens. I know it's going to be a good day when that happens. And I like to just have a mindful morning. So even when I'm making coffee, just to be present to that. Spend some time in meditation, some gratitude. I have a dog, so taking him out for a walk is always part of my morning, or a run, or some sort of exercise. So it depends on the day, but if it starts mindfully, I'm happy.
So I've got to know, master in positive psych, have you two crossed paths before?
We have. We went to the same program at Penn.
Yeah, we're college buddies.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I hope that means you have great stories about Bobby.
That's hilarious. You know what the litmus test for a positive psychology expert is? They're happy even when they wake up before the alarm goes off. Because most people, you know, it's like, oh, I could have slept 3 more minutes. Not Lewis. I love that.
Some days that's the case, though.
Well, good morning, Linda. We're so excited that you've joined us on the show today. Linda is the hashtag Master Fixer. So I'm wondering, Linda, how do you start your day?
Oh, it sounds a bit similar, actually. I like to wake up before the alarm, but it doesn't always work. I move a lot in the morning. I stretch a lot. It's these old bones. I stretch a lot in the morning. I drink a lot of water and lemon in the morning to get me going, and I meditate. I'm new to meditation this week in LA. I've loved that. I've been resisting it for quite a long time, but I've found that this week. I've really enjoyed it. And of course, I journal. I journal a lot in the morning.
Oh, that's so good. I always think I should journal in the morning, and then I don't.
Goes back on the to-do list for tomorrow.
Yeah. Back on the to-do list, yes, with laundry. Well, thank you so much for being here, Linda. We're excited. Maybe you can master fix my life, and I will get that journaling done. Good morning, Brendan. We're so excited that you're with us today, creator of the Creative Academy for Fitness. How do you start your day? What's your morning routine like?
I just get up and I go. I'm usually full speed ahead. I meditate a little bit later in the day, but I am someone who I like to get a workout in, and I like to push my limits first thing when I wake up, just to get my, my mind is exhausted, when I wake up. So why not exhaust it a little bit more and test myself?
Would have never guessed that guy worked out. Ever. Just tripped and looked like that, yeah.
I had a feeling. And good morning, Sifu. Matthew is in the house, martial arts, master of wellness. There you have it. I'm so excited that you're here. He is such an incredible energy worker. I've recently seen another interview with him on Focus TV. Incredible. So I was like, you have to come on our show. So thank you for being with us today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about your morning routine, how you start your day.
So I wake up and immediately I spend time just looking at what I feel, like what does my body feel like in the morning at this present time, and I will sit with that for a while, and then I start to work with what my vision is for the day and making sure that everything I feel energetically is in alignment with that. And I really pay attention to, like, if something is off when I first start. So if I feel like my back's off, my kidney's off, or something's not feeling right, I will sit there for a while and move the energy until I get to a point where I feel like I'm really, really strong. Then I get up and I move. Then I'll start to kind of move and do different positions that actually allow me to feel myself expanded, really strong and really clear. And then I feel like I can go out to the day and do what I need to do.
Wow, he's a master if he's in tune with his kidney, and he can tell that thing is off.
I'm sold. Where do we sign up? Classes, workshops, whatever he's got.
Well, thank you all so much for being here. We're excited to talk to you more later in the show.
That's so great. I can just imagine like you're dating somebody that's into martial arts, and every time you do anything, they're like having some kung fu movement of like how to like communicate about it, and like it's a whole Saturday night skit. I can feel it. Right?
That's awesome. Yeah, script that one. It'd be another show. Yeah.
It could be another show. So how was your self-love lesson last night, Erin?
Oh man, it was another full day. I went from here down to Lori Harder's for an interview on her podcast. Earn Your Happy. She's just such an amazing woman. I love her house is gorgeous too. We had a great conversation about reprogramming your subconscious mind. Then I came home. I actually had some clients, and then I went downtown and we had I think it's been our 5th monthly event downtown called Self-Love Lessons. Last night was all about money, and we had Natalie Ellis, who's CEO of Boss Babe, come down also. And it was just, you know what, it's a beautiful night. I know it's a great night when there's tears. That's like my, like, okay, we had some transformation here. And so tears are just breakthroughs, and knowing that there's a new potential for people, and letting go of past stories, and just, it was a beautiful evening.
Fantastic.
Very blessed.
Yeah. I don't usually quantify a great night in tears, cocktails, but you know, I will say that tears are quite transformative. Usually the only place I allow myself to cry is the shower, so nobody knows what happens and it just washes away.
There you go.
Right?
The tears of triumph.
That's right. That's right. Well, I made it to the Hollywood Museum. Special thanks to the invitation of Roger Neal. We were celebrating a great new exhibit that's open there. It's at Hollywood and Highland, and Tom Woodruff has a huge display and exhibit of all the creatures and monsters he's created in the past like 20 years. I mean, it's incredible, from like Alien to Tremors. They had these models. It was terrifying, but it was really neat to just see his contribution in his art and work in real life.
Love it. Fantastic. I got a haircut, but I've got 60 clients. It's boring. I don't want to share that. But I will say this: I'm having an issue because I feel like I'm cheating on my barber with another barber. I see them both. What do you do about that?
Seinfeld episode.
Yeah, it is. It's a whole thing.
No, I will say, like, you can't have somebody else do your hair, because then when they see you,
yeah,
like,
but I have to. It's got to stay clean, and the guy's off the one day that I need to see him, so it's just one of those things.
Hey, so did you have a nice conversation of like, I really like you, but I'm going polyamorous. And
it's a whole thing. I don't know. Relationships with barbers are different. Like the barbers I have, we talk a little bit, but it's not like the kind of like therapy that I often hear women sharing with their stylist, right? It's a whole different kind of experience. It's like, what do you do this weekend? I'm like, I hung out. Yeah, everything good? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Worst thing could have happened, but that's just the way it is with a barber.
I've had people recently, offer their services, and I've had to call my stylist because I feel like I'm being so disloyal, and say, they offered to do my highlights. Do we think this is a good plan? Should I cheat on you? Are you okay with this? Does it save you time? It's really interesting. And special thanks to Elizabeth Lake for always keeping my blonde on point. But yeah.
You did look great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, so funny.
We had a great show yesterday. We had an incredible group of guests, and what a way to be able to start our Tuesday, right? Transformation, beauty from the inside. Now, let's take a look at our rewind.
Imposter syndrome is a lack of self-worth. So often folks think that they're lucky, or they didn't earn or deserve their way into success, into the success they're experiencing. And so we know lots of famous people that have been very public about that, Maya Angelou and lots of other people. But at the end of the day, for me, it's really two things. It's sort of a lack of self-worth, right? And it's also a focus on extrinsic motivation and reward as opposed to intrinsic motivation and reward. So when you begin to sort of solve those two things, often the imposter syndrome sort of solves itself.
My biggest thing was, I think there's so many things in life where the barriers to enter are so high. Where like, on all these amazing platforms, all these people who have so much influence and have all these followers, like you can't get that overnight. You can't authentically get that overnight. So I wanted to create an opt-in editorial platform. So if you want to be heard and you're a woman, hopefully this is something that can apply to men soon too, but if you want to be heard, apply on our website. You take 5-7 minutes, fill out a questionnaire, a member of our team will get back to you.
This film, I'm trying to get people to talk about it. Don't be embarrassed by it. There's a lot of people, there's people in your neighborhood that this is affecting. There's people that's affecting, they may not talk about it, but let's get to the bottom of it.
And I went up a lot of stairs to his, it's not on there, I thought, to his office, and he answered the door, and all of a sudden I felt completely different. Like I knew something was going to happen in that room.
When you know, you know. Coot Jackson, yes, he was her her shaman and very powerful spiritual being. So definitely transformed someone's lives for sure.
She sounds like she had some phenomenal experiences there, huh? Boy, for Transformation Tuesday, love it.
That's right. So let's talk about this thing. Transformation, no, Wealth Wednesday. I'm like, wait, what day are we on? No, I'm on point today. I feel much better than yesterday. So today, talking about money, last night we had this beautiful discussion about money. And I'll never forget, I was actually doing my doctorate and ministerial work. And I remember Thomas Troward, a great, fantastic teacher in the realm of metaphysics. And he had a concept that was changed my life forever. And it was basically that we're such powerful spiritual beings that the moment that we even consider our identity, we set an entire stream of events happening polarity-wise in the universe. And I remember hearing that and being in a meditation and thinking, how profound is it that the moment we even consider something, we set in motion? So money, coming to money, it transformed into realizing that the moment that we assign power over to money as if it is more powerful than us is the moment that we experience ourselves being disempowered in the realm of money. And so one of the processes that we went through last night is basically acknowledging where in life we've handed our power over. I know that for many of us, we do it. We stay in situations or relationships because of money. We take jobs that we don't, love because of money. We, don't eat necessarily the best food because we consider that we can't afford, particular organic, extraordinary food. So it, literally, we have to acknowledge all these things to actually reclaim our power. It's just in the awakening of realizing that we were that powerful to create that, and the same power that creates being disempowered in money is the exact same consciousness that can create being empowered in money. So it's just a profound process that you can go through individually, one-on-one, you can do through group sessions or whatever, but it's one of the most powerful processes around money.
I think it's great you bring such awareness and light to that, but I'm still wondering, what I haven't heard is how the hell you change that.
Well, it's in, first of all, the acknowledging. So just in truly recognizing that power, it's like they say, half the problem is acknowledging the problem. So half of it is really just acknowledging that and really sitting with the impact of what that is in your life and really going down and then beginning to command the consciousness. And that's what we teach. We teach how to actually energize, get into that ecstatic state, and then be able to declare and command, just like you command the limiting beliefs, you command what you do want to know in this life. So it's like building a muscle. It's like literally going to the gym in consciousness. You have to learn how to do incantations or affirmative prayer, whatever it is, to really know that truth and begin to reprogram the subconscious.
Does that resonate?
Kind of.
Yeah.
But let's be real, Rob. What was your experience with that? When did you flip the switch to really command? Because I know that you've built your life.
Yeah, it's a great question. I would say the moment that I committed to happiness and committed to peace, and I took my mind off of money. Because I've noticed a couple of things in my life. I noticed that money has come to me when I was super stressed about it. Sometimes money came to me when I was really happy about it. Sometimes money didn't come when I was really happy and felt in alignment. Sometimes money didn't come to me when I was at peace. So I just threw all that out. Erin's absolutely right. I agree with you completely. I think that really it's prioritizing peace and joy and self-love and letting everything else unfold from there. Because at the end of the day, money comes, money goes, and if you're chasing something that is as temporary as money, you're going to always lack peace and happiness and real love.
Which is really saying the exact same thing. Like if you're handing your power over to money and you're putting yourself in situations that you're not happy, it's the same thing as coming back to the authenticity and coming to the integrity of being in peace and being authentic.
Absolutely.
So it's the same, really the same work.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think to the extent that you just prioritize your happiness and realize that happiness, peace, joy is the same vibrational frequency that abundance is. It's the same frequency, and you don't have to think about money to create money. That's nonsense. There are lots of athletes and performers and all kinds of people that have done extremely well and make millions of dollars, and they've never really focused on money. I heard an interview with Venus Williams recently, and she said, I've never thought about money. I just did the thing that I loved, and I committed to it fully, and I'm a multimillionaire, many, many years later. So there are so many ways to achieve and to acquire and to accumulate money. But for me, all I know is peace. I don't know anything else.
We had an interesting conversation with Eileen Gruba on Monday. She's an incredible actress, producer, performer, and she's a woman with a disability. And she's really done so much work in the media industry to really let that not define her, not be defined by her disability. But I will say this, and she'll attest to it, it has created there's an issue for people with disability to actually be able to go out there and work, especially if they are physically limited or legally limited to earn an income for themselves.
That's right, Jess. And I can certainly see the challenge there. There's no question about that. And that being said, I've also discovered that when there's great challenge, there's also great opportunity. Sometimes it's hidden, sometimes it's in disguise, sometimes it's poorly packaged or poorly wrapped, but there's always a profound opportunity exactly the same place that the challenge exists. And so it takes a little bit of creative thinking sometimes, it takes a lot of luck sometimes, but when you can quiet your mind or find peace or find happiness and take your mind off the problem and drop the resistance around it, sometimes you find bigger, better things coming along without so much effort and energy.
What's the name of the incredible public speaker? I think he's one of the highest paid public speaker there is, and he doesn't have legs or arms.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think his name is Nick.
Right?
Something.
I mean, it's all possible.
Yes.
It's totally in the mind for sure. But I think it's an interesting thing because you asked, but how? That's the thing, like, but no one said how. And that's the whole point of the spiritual. We don't control, we don't know the how. That's up to the higher intelligence. So we just declare, we know the truth, and we know it's done in mind. So we just take inspired action. There's not like some formula for the how, right? It is literally this place that we have to surrender over to something in the process of knowing the truth.
Absolutely, and another way of saying it, I think, is just reaching for thoughts and feelings of relief. So whatever it is that brings you relief in your life, whatever you feel in alignment with, whatever brings your, sort of makes your heart sing, do more of those things, think more about those things, feel more of those things as consistently as humanly possible. And just by keeping your mind off of the thing that you have so much resistance about, you'll be surprised because well-being and abundance will just start to flow through your life. And it will come through in all kinds of ways. Sometimes it won't show up as money, it'll show up as an apartment. It might not come through as money, but it'll show up as a car. It might not come as a car at all, it might be a train. But in any case, just try to take your mind off the things that really are painful and hurtful and put your mind and energy on the things that lift up your spirit and your heart, and you'll be surprised that abundance will find its way to you.
So well said. We're feeling the love here today.
Spoken like a true positive psychologist.
I know one thing in this world, just one thing. I can't claim to, I don't claim to know anything about money. I don't claim to know a whole lot about business. I just know about peace. That's it.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Done, done, and done. Okay,
Exactly.
drop the mic. We're over. So let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll get to these interviews. Stay tuned.
Our mission is to inspire, enlighten, and entertain, and we have done that with the next issue of Focus magazine, and we are lovingly calling it the Romance Issue. I'm Jessica Moyer, the managing editor of Focus magazine, celebrating the people of Los Angeles from Malibu to Manhattan Beach and into West Hollywood who are making a difference here in LA. Gracing the cover is Ms. Tosca Mas. She is the co-founder of Passion Flicks. It's a new streaming service dedicated to passion. Also on the cover is Mr. Rob Mack, official, my co-host of Good Morning La La Land, a happiness expert who's got a great take on the language of love. Also on the cover, Ms. Lori Harder. She's released her new book, A Tribe Called Bliss, and she's talking all of the things about loving your tribe. We're also proud to feature Tracy Bregman from Mean Girl to Legend. You may remember her from Young and the Restless, and we're talking her journey in Hollywood. I'm also proud to announce that we have iconic matchmaker Carly Spindel's take on dating in modern romance. And for the love of television, we're also featuring Mr. Larry Namer. He was the co-founder of E! Entertainment, now president of the Newtown Entertainment Group. And we had a very special interview with him on my podcast, LA Unscripted. Also in this issue, we're featuring my dear friends, the Royals Paris, Faye and Hisham, great designers from Paris, now in Beverly Hills. We're also excited to feature Cherie J. Wilson. You may recognize her as one of the femme fatales and quintessential American actresses from shows like Walker, Texas Ranger, Dallas, and now she's launching her own production company, Sandalphon Entertainment. And we are community powered here at Focus Magazine. We're proud to feature Michelle Gillette's contribution, Healthy Sexy Brains. We're also proud to feature how one community mother is taking on our mental health and school violence crisis with her company, Q Wonder. And social media superstar and model is wielding her influence. Focus is proud to feature Sarah McDaniel. And our Focus food editor, Tamby Safran, had the opportunity to interview Chef Seth Greenberg, who's taking on Beverly Hills with his new restaurant, Citizen. And this woman is reinventing pizza. We've got a great feature on Gail Becker, the founder of Cully Power, reinventing some of our favorite foods. And our Focus TV travel editor, Wendy Kretschmer, took an incredible trip to the newest Gran Vela seaside sanctuary on Mexico's Baja Peninsula. It's life, love, and the pursuit of romance in the current issue of Focus magazine. Be sure to catch all the video interviews available on Focus TV Network and visit focusmag.us if you want to see the digital copy of this magazine. I'm Jasmine Moyer. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back to Good Morning LaLaLand. We're so honored on Wednesdays. We talk a lot about women's empowerment. And this woman, I spent last week with her and a group of women with Nick Pigeon up in a beautiful house in the hills of Hollywood. And we talked all things business and community and women and empowerment and ageism. So important. So Linda Davies Carr, thank you so much for being here. A business coach, a thought leader. I mean, you have like these qualifications that are like 30 years running businesses, executive MBA, master belt,
it makes
master
her
NLP.
The hashtag master fixer. She's the
I'll take that.
right?
I'll take that.
Well, I'm so excited just to get to know you and your personal story and how you were able to accomplish everything that you've done.
I'm a hard worker, you know. I've worked a long time and I worked hard. I was brought up with a good work ethic. I came into employment in the 80s. You were told you could have it all. You could do everything, yeah. I bought my first house at 19 and I just got on with it. Wow. I just got on with it. So I didn't go to university straight from school. I was too hungry just to get out and make money. So I just got on with it.
I love that. I just got on with it.
Yeah.
Erin, let's just get on with it.
Honestly, right?
There was just no choice for you. There was no option to fail. Was there ever fear of that?
I think everybody fears failure, don't they, in one dimension or another. But no, I was determined that I just wanted to get out in the world and I wanted to make my mark. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's what I did. I was brought up with a good work ethic, as I said.
Yeah.
And I think growing up in the UK in the 80s as your first job, you were encouraged to go out and do it all, buy your first house, you have the holidays, be a mum, do everything you want to do. I had my children at 30 and 33. I was a single mum for 9 years. I did it all on my own, and I think it just makes you more resilient.
My God, you really got on with it.
I did.
Because you know, we had some conversations last week as women and what this movement, really the movement's going on. So let's talk a little bit about ageism, because we talked about that a little bit, which is such an important conversation.
We did.
Because you have another platform called Non-Millennial
Revolution.
So tell us about that.
I'm proud to be 53, and I work with a lot of women who are getting into their 40s and 50s, and you know, they've brought up their children, and they're looking around, they're going, it's my time, but what's there for me? Or they've had a brilliant idea, but they've never had the courage or the conviction or the time or the energy or the confidence to make it happen for them. Or they've got a business and then they've got a plateau and they just don't know where to take it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I coach a lot of businesses. I'm a business coach. Yeah, MasterFix is my business brand, and they're looking for something else. They're looking for some guidance. They're looking for some motivation. They're looking for some confidence, and they want to make it better for themselves. They reach that plateau.
But what would you say to the woman who thinks, well, geez, I'm 40 or 50. I'm too old. I've already run my life, done my time. Just set myself up for retirement.
I would say you've got 40 or 50 years ahead of you. Yeah, so let's get started.
I love that. But let's talk about why non-millennials, because I think it has a lot to do with social media. And what are women that are over 40 generally dealing with? Because social media is such a huge part of today's world, and yet it's like focused on these young 20-year-old asses. Let's just face the fact, like it's like too much. It's over the top.
Well, it's interesting. I work with somebody who I checked out. I stalked on social media, and I thought, she's too young, she's too beautiful, she's too everything for me to work with. What on earth could I learn from her? But interesting, right back at me, it's like people looking at me and going, oh my goodness, you've had a career, you know, you've had 30 years in business, you've brought up your children, share with me your life lessons, share with me your wisdom, help me understand how I can grow my performance, how I can grow my business, how I can grow my ideas. Yeah. So the non-millennial revolution was kind of evolved as a platform, and it's the fastest growing global platform for the 40+ women. And it's to help us, because you know, we're on social media, but we're stalking Maybe some of us aren't very active, but we're stalking. So this platform is there to say, find your voice, let's help you, let's empower you, because you have 40 or 50 years ahead of you.
And what would you say to the woman who's never felt that she had her voice in the 40 or 50 years that she's never found it herself?
I'm not a mindset coach. Yeah, but and I'm not a psychologist, as some of you are, but I would say, do you know what? There's something there for everyone. So the non-millennial revolution has been put together for that person to help them find their voice, whether or not they need a tug or a shove, or whether or not they need some gentle cajoling along the way. There's something there for everyone.
How did you discover your voice?
I've always been gobby. My father would say, gobby is an English phrase for just opinionated and loud. Yeah. So did I ever find my voice? I never lost my voice. It was always there. But I think when I got into my 40s and 50s, I wanted to do something for myself more. I built the Master Fixer from scratch at age 51. Yeah. So and I've grown it to a 6-figure business really, really quickly in 18 months. And I wanted to be the trailblazer to show my girls. I've got 2 girls, to show my children that they could have it all.
What an incredible example.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
So you work with Nick Pigeon, who, big shout out to Nick, we love Nick. Nick, tell us a little bit about why as a woman who business, you obviously can get on with it, why you would have a coach and why you feel someone would want a coach.
Okay, well, I've always had a coach. So I've been in business for 30 years and I worked for some brilliant organizations, but I was always encouraged to level up. So I've always had a coach. I had a couple of coaches for a while. Some people to help me with mindset and confidence, and some people to help me with business, to help you level up, to grow your thinking, to challenge your thinking, to get you to do more, to have more and to do more.
So important. I think that it's a myth that you're going to get somewhere and you don't need any more mentoring. I think we're all mentors or coaches and we're all students. Like there's always, and I will forever be growing in both areas. And I think that that's kind of the beauty of that synergy that happens. So when you work with a woman, what does that look like?
I always kick off with a 3-hour strategy session because my job is to get under the guts of the business or get under the guts of the problem. And I think, you can't do it in a quick hour. So I spend 2 to 3 hours with someone trying to get under the guts of their business, opening the hood, as you would say, and getting underneath. So finding out what motivates them, what they need, what they're looking for personally, spiritually sometimes, but also what they're looking for their family as well. That's really, really important. What are their financial goals? People don't like talking about money, do they? But you've got to ask the money questions. So I'm a very, very straight talker. I cut to the quick quite quickly, and I want to get great results for the clients that are working with me.
Such an exciting time.
It is. It really is.
What do you think you've learned about yourself in working with these clients?
I talk too fast. I swear too much. Yeah. I'm not here this morning, I promise. But I talk too fast, and what have I learned? That I have, over the 30 years, built all this wonderful wisdom, and I don't appreciate that I have all this knowledge and this wisdom. And it's not until you start working with people who need support and help that you realize how much experience that you really, really do have.
Isn't that a profound principle that often giving, you receive a reminder of sort of what it is that you have in deep abundance?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
So true.
Thank you for being with us and sharing your time and light. Tell everyone where they can find and work with you and be a part of the non-millennial revolution.
The non-millennial revolution is new, so it's we're on Insta as non-millennial revolution, and we have a new website which is being set up as a blog. So we're looking for bloggers, women over 40, who want to guest blog on our platform. So that's also the non-millennialrevolution.com. Thank you.
Love it.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land.
Hi everyone, thank you for tuning into This Week in Focus. I'm your associate producer of the Focus TV network, which is America's first video streaming talk show network, but you already knew that. And I got my girl with me,
Jasmine Ye, co-host of Good Morning La La Land.
So last week on the Focus TV network, we had the Renwood Show. On Purpose with Brittany Zonker, we had
the incredible actor Reggie Watkins.
On the LA Home Show with our host Natasha Phillips
was broker extraordinaire Amy Kane.
Yes. On Eyes Up Here with Lindsay Payless, we had
the actress Shai Fontanette.
On Naked Chats with Josh Murray, we had
Sheena Marie from Vanderpump Rules.
Yes, we're also so excited to announce the newest issue of Focus magazine.
And we are lovingly calling it the Romance Issue. We're proud to feature Ms. Tosca Musk on the cover, along with Focus TV family Rob Mack Official.
Yes,
and
our guy.
Lori Harder.
So, speaking of Rob Mack, co-host of Good Morning La La Land, Jeslyn Moyer, there was a very busy week at Good Morning La La Land. Who was on the show?
It was a great week in La La Land. On the show, we had two-time Emmy Award-winning producer and actor, Eddie Perez.
Yes.
We also had dating expert Laurel House.
What?
She co-hosts the hashtag Man Whisperer with Rob Mack.
With Rob Mack.
We were really excited to talk tennis with Carrie Lynn. And all the way from Orange County, Rachel Savoda.
Wes Gear was actually here repping his Rock to Recovery event.
And Focus TV with Good Morning La La Land was on the red carpet to promote Rock to Recovery 3. We talked to Drew Carey, Jeremy Jackson, Kira Reed-Lorsch was there. Let's take a look at the concert.
Let me hear you say, hell yeah! Say, hell yeah! Ready for the F-bomb? Say, fuck yeah! Now scream! I love you guys. Let's do this.
So much fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning into This Week in Focus. I'm Victoria Simone.
And I'm Jeslyn Moyer. Don't miss the new issue of Focus magazine. Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. I'm so excited to welcome to the show Sifu Matthew. He has mastered the martial arts wellness. Thank you so much for being with us.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
So for those people out there that don't know what a Sufi is and don't know what Kung Fu is, would you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, okay. So a Sifu, they call it actually a Sifu in the Chinese lineage. It just means like a teacher or a master or a father, basically. And it just means that you have a level of expertise in that discipline or art and understand how to apply that to any situation. So I like to think of taking the martial arts and being able to use it in any single situation versus just, let's say, combat or fighting.
Yeah, it's like a way of life.
It's absolutely a way of understanding interaction between organisms.
Right, I love that.
Yeah.
When did you discover martial arts?
It discovered me, I would say, when I was 3 years old.
Wow.
So I've been doing it pretty consistently from 3 until now.
Wow.
And I can say that it's had just a profound effect on so many aspects as far as like listening, understanding, feeling, and then moving power, and really understanding like what that means on a way that I kind of evolved to, you know, over a lot of injuries, a lot of issues, and then trying to figure out like why are things not changing and how do I start to use what I know to make something really happen for real.
You have the reputation of being the injury whisperer.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Okay. So, you know, that happened because over time I started working with athletes and people who had really, really serious problems, and there were often times where I'd literally walk in and heal something within like a minute that was out for 12 years, 20 years, even genetic conditions that they're kind of on my website. I've had people come in who've had like born with toes that were deformed, and they literally disappeared within like 5 minutes or 4 minutes.
The toes did not disappear.
No, you're right,
but
exactly.
The toes did move.
Right.
I've seen the video.
Thank you for. So there's a lot of. The nickname came from like the ability to just find the right point, to understand that point of contact, or as you were saying earlier, consciousness of what's happening in the body, and really listening to like what is it asking for, not what do I want to do, and then connecting and then working with that.
Mm-hmm. How does one cultivate that ability? Because I think everyone, whether it's physical or financial or emotional or psychological or relational, they're wanting to heal something, right? So what would you say is the essence of healing, and how can people cultivate the ability to heal themselves or others?
I love that question, by the way. I think it's a really good question. I go back to first finding your power inside, and then finding your balance. Like when are you in your power, really in your power? Which means if you're in your power, you will never feel nervous, you will never feel stressed, you will feel like you are at ease. When you lose your power is when we start striving for things outside of ourselves, and that's when we start creating disease. And whether it's a spiritual thing, whether it's a physical thing, whether it's an emotional thing, you have to go back to like finding the stability zone. So the stability zone creates the healing in the body, because the stability zone is where you can actually draw a new force from. And in that stability zone, you can actually heal things quickly. And basically back to what you were saying is it's really about listening to what's there and training yourself through interaction to be interested in what am I feeling, because there's so much that's happening in every single moment. Like every glance you have with a person, every look, every movement, there is a huge exchange of information, and we process zero of it. I would say, like, you know, those who are really conscious are if you're trying, then you're getting it. But most people are not even thinking in that direction because we're thinking to kind of pull away from ourselves. So I want to bring you to go in and feel it.
So what's the difference between, because you're a Kung Fu master, what is the difference between a Kung Fu master versus, say, someone who's just very spiritual and can come into a room and completely like change the conscious just by their beingness?
I would say they should technically, depends on obviously what your specialty is in your Kung Fu mastery, because not all Kung Fu masters are healers. Some are, some just fight. If you get to that level, whether it's a spiritual master or someone who's a high-level martial artist, they would be in the same standing where they'd be able to connect to the forces that are there, and they would be able to start adjusting them within themselves by finding balance. And I would say the gift of the martial arts for me is learning how to really hold force in the body. And so a lot of times I get a lot of people who come to me, they're business leaders or people trying to go further, and athletes, and I say, no, you got to get it into the body. You have to get the energy so deep in your bones, in your blood, in your nerves, in your feet, back to the earth. Then it's yours. Then you can do something.
But how do you protect that energy? Because I would consider myself a little bit of an empath. And I can sense people's energy. And sometimes I think, why am I feeling nervous? Oh, clearly that person is nervous.
Yeah, it's not you.
It's not me.
It's not you.
But I feel it.
Okay. That's a really good question. Okay. I work with a lot of people on this, and what has to happen, number one, is you learn, especially if you're an empath, you learn how to stabilize your forces on a regular basis. So you learn how to use forces that are stronger than you. Because honestly, I feel everything's stronger than us. There's so much amazing energy around us, we have to use it. So for example, connecting to the earth and learning how to use it as a shield or as a sheath, it becomes a part of your body. Then you walk into a room, you have control over your energy field. So when something comes in, it feels more like a mosquito rather than a car hitting you. And there's a level of learning how to manipulate that by your body position. So like how I move my foot, how you move your toe, how I plant my toe. Every little movement changes everything that we're doing.
Well, Stevie, you need to plant me into the wrong because I've been hit by that car several times. Like a celebrity will walk in and I'm like, I feel fine. And then all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, I am not fine.
Right. It's so, you know, it's such an interesting subject because I think there's so many things that we're not able to see, and so we have to trust what we're not seeing, but what we're feeling, and then you learn to work with that. What happens a lot of times is something uncomfortable comes in, and then the mind jumps. Okay, it starts racing, and then you start trying to control it from the mind, and you can't. You have to control it from the heart. It has to go into like the vital force of the body, has to go through the body, down into the earth, and then you can actually move things. It's really about like how deep can you go inside yourself, and then as you go deeper inside yourself, you'll feel it from the person, but you'll be like more like a swordsman. You'll just be like, and you just kind of feel it, and then you work with it very subtly.
So this must be the secret to any successful marriage.
It's important. You know, look, I cannot emphasize enough how we're all healing all the time. You know, some people think about healing and they think about like, oh, I'm really good. Like I'll meet certain business guys and I'm like, hey, do you want to heal something? And they're like, I want to heal my golf swing. And I'm like, that's not it. That's not it. And I'm like, that's not it. No, let's really look at like what's happening.
But through teaching them how to heal their golf swing, can you, as a metaphor, direct them back to tapping into something that's deeper and more meaningful and more impactful?
You know, I only, like, at least my approach usually is I take them in first. I will tell them what's broken. Because I say to people, like, a lot of people have problems and they're feeling broken, but they won't admit it. And it's like, if I show you a weakness and I'm like, hey, your arm, okay, let's say you're Mr. CEO, you're running a big oil company and you're not doing the right stuff. You're not behaving appropriately with your wife. You're not dealing well with your money. It's going to be in your body. It will come out in your heart. It means it will come out in your arms. It will be a weakness in your shoulder. It will be somewhere. So if I show you that and prove it to you, then generally you have more of a level of respect. And then I say, now we do this way. We go this way. Because otherwise sometimes it's harder to get in that way.
It's like the ethics of spirituality, and it's so fascinating. Even, you know, to get a little bit, you know, intense. I mean, people have sexual issues a lot because of their out of ethics. They've got to claim and recognize and pull back on their ethics, and it's a really fascinating part of the work. So fascinating, right?
So if somebody wants a crash course in this, where can they find more information? How do they get involved?
You go to my website, which is themartialartsofwellness.com, and you can find me on Facebook as well, which is Martial Arts of Wellness. And I also have videos on my site that you can plug into. You can work with the programs, And basically I start teaching you very simply how to use your force, how to acknowledge it, how to connect to it, how to move it, and how to then start to use it, as I say, in engagement or in battle.
I love it.
Thank you so much. And may the force be with you. We'll be back with more on Good Morning
You are the force.
Thank you, guys. That was awesome.
For you, in this moment, what feels most true to you?
The three of you. Really grounded and present and like honored to be sitting with other like-minded individuals. I think that it's so important with everything that's going on in the world that this is our now, that this is hopefully the future. And you know, because of the experience with certain things on TV in the past, it's heartbreaking. And it's heartbreaking to watch, and it's heartbreaking to see other people go through it. And people out there watching it don't really understand what it does to your psyche and to your heart. It's just tragic. And so I think what you guys are doing here is absolutely just a gift.
Right. This is my sanity.
I can see that.
There's so much insanity in my life and uncertainty. This is my truth.
I have a hard time saying no to. One is a boy in a band, and the second is a Snickers bar. So I wrote a song about both.
I hear you, sister.
Chasing you down like an ice cream truck. Every damn time that my phone lights up, I'll be salivating at the sound of what's up. Yeah, what's up? Boy, you're delicious. It's too bad you ain't nutritious. When you say my name, it's like candy. When you kiss my lips, it's like candy. You're no good for me, you're like candy. You're like candy, hey.
Oh, thank you guys.
Love addiction. I hear it. Wow.
Do you guys want to be my backup singer?
It's like, okay, you guys, come on. We need to get vulnerable here.
Totally. I think it's okay to pepper it in, and I love beautiful content, and I've always been a fan of putting out really quality content, but at the same time, I think that it's really important for my industry to tell their story. The mission has definitely been to inspire women to be the best version of themselves and kind of be an example and a role model for a lot of girls that are reading my blog.
What's been the biggest challenge for you in doing this, in building this business?
Ooh, the biggest challenge, I think, is how consistent you really have to be. So what I've had to do is learn that I'm like a cell phone. I have 100% charge, and it goes down to 1%. And when it's down there, I need to step back, recharge. The consistency of creating content, it can be a lot, but I think I love it. And
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We have Brendan Myers in the house for Wealth Wednesday. And you know, if you look up his Instagram, his title, his biography is basically currently lit. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I've been through a lot in my life recently, and I lost everything, but I also gained it all back. And I look at my situation, I look at where I am today, and I say, hey, I have legs, I have arms, I am thinking, I am present, I am living. And that's just it. I'm currently living, and I'm grateful for it.
Awesome.
So take us back to where you were, you know, in this past year, where you lost everything, and you decided, I'm going to flip the switch, and I am going to get it all back.
Yeah, absolutely. So I lost $100,000. I lost my dog. I lost a relationship. I suffered 2 severe herniated discs. I tore my shoulder in 4 places. I had sinus surgery. I had stem cell surgery. I had complications. I got addicted to pain pills, whatever. I had all these different things happening.
All at once?
Yeah, within like a 6-month period. A hurricane hit me, I got stung by a bee, I couldn't run from it, you know, like all these different things. And so I looked at my situation and I said, you know, I could either just allow it to cripple me. I could allow it to just put me to my knees and give up, you know, because I thought suicide runs through your mind, and it's, you know, you have to control that. And so I did a lot of meditation. I learned about myself. I said, hey, if I truly want to make an impact in this world long term, I have to not only get myself out of this, but I also have to do it in a positive way and show the world what you're capable of doing. So I actually tatted something on my wrist called Warrior Spirit. And it just means no matter what, even if you get stabbed in the heart, you're gonna fall flat on your face, not flat on your back. And you're gonna keep on pushing forward. And I also had something called It's All Good, because every single day I would just say, it's all good, it's all good, it's all good. And now I've had a lot of really good things happen to me
Now
recently.
it's all good.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, it's real good.
Well, that's so important. I think that it's interesting because some people, there's a consciousness of wanting to make a difference in the world when you begin to do your own development. There's this desire, and some people go, why do you want to help the world? What's that all about? And I'm a true believer that we're all one, and we're one consciousness, so we can't truly move past our pain or move fully complete healing until everyone's been healed. What's your experience, and what's been the driver for you to not only heal yourself, but then heal other people, make a difference in the world?
I would say understanding my situation so deeply, like why I was feeling, a lot of it was stress, right? So I would look at my situation and I would say, okay, how did I even get to this position? Well, heartbreak, and then other issues because maybe I wasn't training correctly and I wasn't being structured like I was teaching other people exactly how to be, you know? And so I think it's just a matter of, there's just so much I have to say about that subject. It's just, I felt compelled when I was like all the way at ground zero to find a way, even when I didn't think that there was a way. And I allowed myself to feel what I was feeling, embrace it, and then learn and then build. And as I was building, I didn't know what I was building. It was just like a block and a block and a block. And I was like, I don't know where this is leading, but it led to today. And that's kind of like the situation at hand where I broke out of it.
Well, and it also led to the Creative Fitness Academy. Tell us about the blocks and the blocks and the blocks to build that.
Yeah, so I came back out to California. I was living in Florida, that's my hometown. And I actually woke up, I went to sleep, and I had like a lot of suicidal thoughts. I woke up the next morning with 5 text messages from people, and you can't explain that, right? But it was my calling to be able to get back to California. And then when I got here, I didn't really have a vision. I didn't have anything. All I knew was just keep moving forward and everything will, life is in my favor. I'm not in life's favor, life is in my favor. And so I just kept on moving forward, and eventually I came up with this idea. A partner and I split on another business. I thought everything was ending, and then I called up a friend and I said, hey, do you want to develop this business with me? And he was like, yeah, I would love to be a part of it. And then I called up another friend, and hey, your network is your worth, right? It really is. The network, the way you communicate and you connect with people is everything. And I called up 13 people and they were like, I'm all in. Because of my passion and my trust with myself, they saw it, they saw the vision.
So interesting to me. One of my favorite Steve Jobs quotes, they lived forward but only understood backwards.
Yeah.
And it's only by looking back that you're able to connect the dots. But when you try to do that living your life, it's really, really hard.
Oh yeah.
So you have to trust in something, you have to have faith in something, whether it's God or source or your own instinct or intuition. You've done that exceptionally well. Did somebody teach you how to do that, or have you always done that?
Yeah, you know, a lot of life situations when I was younger, I was bullied, certain situations where I had to just trust in myself. And that's really where it started. But I watched my father. My father would wake up every single morning at like 4:30, 4:45 a.m. He had a whole family that he had to feed and he had to work really hard for. And I would crack open the door and watch him every single morning. I just told him this about like a week and a half ago. He was like, what, did you see that? So I used to watch him every single day, and that's where I really found trust within myself. So I said, hey, if my dad can do it, then I can do it as well. And I developed and developed and developed, and now I'm here, and I trust myself like more than anybody could trust themselves. Like I know anything that I do, anything that I touch, anything that I speak about, I can do it if I do it with my effort, I can make it happen.
It's pretty wild because that trust, that self-trust and that faith is built on something that essentially is invisible, right? Because if that faith and that trust was only founded or based on something that was visible at the time you were going through things, you wouldn't have been able to maintain it.
Right. And I think where people go wrong a lot of the times is they don't picture themselves 6 months down the line. And what I'm trying to say is like they don't look at 6 months down the line. For instance, someone that wants to make $100,000 a year, they won't invest in something because they don't picture themselves being in that position today, in the present time. And so some of the things that I tell my clients, people that I work with, I say, hey, imagine yourself 6 months down the line, you have a 6-figure business, everything's flourishing, you're building, your friendships are great, your relationships are great. Okay, Now, take that right now and invest in yourself and do what you need to do. Work like you've already in that 6-figure mindset, because that's where, like, being present like that, that's where you'll overcome so much.
Well, I got that part down.
It's all good, Jack.
It's all going to be just fine.
So where can people find you to work with you?
You can find me on Instagram, Myers, Brendan Myers. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook.
His workouts are killing it on YouTube. He's got almost 800,000 subscribers. Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And for me, it's not even about working with me. It's about just taking some of my words and some of my vision and implementing it into their own lives. And if anybody can do that, if I can say something that will inspire somebody, that's enough for me. I don't need anything else from it.
You already did. I'm inspired.
Awesome.
Thank you for
Thanks
being
so much.
here.
Yeah,
Appreciate you, brother.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more. Good morning, La La Land. Live from Los Angeles. Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. It is about to get hot in here. Kelly Russo is here guiding us through the ALS Hot Pepper Challenge.
Yes, I'm so sorry, but this is going to be fun. It's for a good cause. So first, you pick a hot pepper of your choice. Then you eat it on camera. Honestly, this is this is an underfunded disease. With money, we can cure it. That we're doing this, right?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Oh, it's hot.
No, it's getting bad.
It's getting bad.
Make your donations. We're challenging you, La La Land, to give back to ALS. Stay tuned tomorrow for more #Friday Feels. We are America's first live streaming daily talk show. It's going to be in Los Angeles. Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We are celebrating #Wealth Wednesday in house today. We've got Miss Annalyn McCord and an angel himself, Mr. Matt Thompson. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
We had the honor of going to one of the Tech Coast Angel events, and it was truly one of the most inspiring things I've done in Los Angeles. I feel like I'm in entrepreneur night school.
The Tech Coast Angels is sort of like Shark Tank. We'll have a big auditorium, and then the entrepreneur will go up on stage and pitch their idea for 10 minutes. And then at the end of that, we'll decide, do we put in $500,000 or do we let's show them to the door?
So I've got a few ideas.
Yeah. Good time.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. I am so excited to welcome my friend and positive psychology expert, Aloro. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm well, thanks.
You look well.
So I have a theory on this positive psychology, is that you just dress extremely well, and we are happy just looking at you.
We received that, Jess. We received that.
Thank you. You have to feel good, right?
Well, you tell me. You're the expert.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a theme of the show today, right? It's feeling your joy, feeling your peace, feeling your happiness.
Absolutely. What inspired you to pursue the positive psychology path?
Just a knowing, an intuitive sense that this would be what helps the world heal, right? Helping people learn to think differently, and that's really at the heart of, right, your work, Dr. Erin, that metacognition, to be able to observe your life as you're participating in it, and in real time make some shifts.
Become the change agent.
Yes, yes.
So what kind of shifts do you see in the lives of the clients that you're working with?
An aggregate of lots of little things, I would say. I love Lynn Twist's book. Have you read The Soul of Money?
Yes.
Yes. Have you read that book?
I haven't.
It's really fascinating. She starts it by saying, most people wake up in the morning thinking they didn't get enough sleep last night, and they go to bed at night thinking I didn't get enough done today. And the day is filled with negative, scarce thoughts that are bookended by those two not enough thoughts.
The scarcity mentality, it's really interesting. Brene Brown covered that a lot in one of her books, and how we're constantly thinking we are never enough, we've never done enough, and that we never will have enough.
Yeah.
And one topic, I think, or at least one subject where people really struggle with that is around money. And I always find it fascinating, some of the positive psychology sort of findings around sort of money and happiness. Can you talk to us a little bit about that research?
Yeah, I mean, up to a certain point, money will make you happier, and then past that point, it really has the law of diminishing returns. So I think a lot of people think that that would make them happier. And yeah, I mean, once your basic needs are met and your life is pretty good, you know, it will up till that point. But I was just reading a study that talked about around $100,000 being a different inflection point where you start making a life evaluation at that point. And you know, in different cultures and societies, it's a different number. So you don't want to say it's just one number. But thinking I will be happy when I get that money, or I will be happy when something is different than it is today, is really misinformed kind of thinking.
Right. So I have a question for you, because obviously some of my best friends are positive psychologists, and I'm all for understanding the power of the mind. But I do think that there is a pitfall in just the word positive psychology, in that so many people now are trying to just be happy, and they're not like dealing with the heavy emotions that go on. So how does positive psychology deal with that?
Yeah, so I would just say positive psychology, I'm sure you define it here, the science of human well-being, where life is about a full range of human emotions. So you wouldn't want to say to be happy all the time is the goal, right? Because if you were always happy all the time, you wouldn't know what that felt like anymore, because you have nothing to compare it to. So it's in the contrast that life is lived, and yes, you do need to experience sadness, and you do need to experience loss and go through those emotions of grief in order to then feel the positive opposite, which is the joy, the peace, the love.
Yeah, a lot of time we have self-judgment. Like, if I'm not feeling totally happy, something's wrong with me. Why am I, you know, something's broken, you know, and instead of getting into understanding and using that negative emotion, realizing that that's helping propel me in the right way, but also to really recognize and feel the grief, the sadness, whatever it is, to as is that, instead of putting a label as that something's wrong with this. And so I'm sure that positive psychology deals with that, but it's just such an interesting kind of pitfall of it.
Yeah, I think it's almost a misnomer, right? Because at first glance you think, oh, just think positively, which is part of it, but not the full part of it.
Tell us a little bit about the SOMO theory.
The theory that I like to work with in organizational development, community development, is that there are social emotional leaders, SOMO leaders, and they're people who are change agents. They're people who would identify with the work of helping influence positive changes. So in identifying who they are and helping those people build their own psychological muscle, we then, by degrees of influence, can reach other people. So the idea is find them, leverage them, and then send them out to do more effective work.
So how could somebody who is not a positive psychologist apply that SOMO theory to their own life?
They take on their own stuff, right? They say, okay, for me first, I will work on myself in service of helping the world. And so a lot of the folks that come through my classes and my coaching are people who ultimately realize, ooh, I have a lot of work to do, right? I'm called to help other people, but I really see this is all about me.
Absolutely. So one of my favorite quotes is, "Your happiness is your gift to the world." You know, and I think I found that to be true. You and I have talked a lot about some of the research that points to not just the fact that sort of money doesn't lead to happiness, you know, particularly after basic needs are met, but also the sort of flip side of that coin also, which is that optimism and resilience and grit and some of these other qualities that we've sort of defined in positive psychology does lead to increased abundance and success in your life. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the idea that your well-being is predictive of your success is a good thing to keep in mind.
Sure.
Not that you then are happy once you are successful. A lot of people think when the success comes, then I'll be happy. But a lot of great research shows that just the opposite is true, right? That your happiness and well-being will predict the success that you're wanting.
So true, right? Yeah. We have it all backwards. That's right. I love it. So right now you're getting your PhD, is that right?
Yeah, I'm working on a PhD.
Amazing.
I just began, so finding a new normal in all of it and being a student, right? I think someone earlier was talking about the coach needs coaching, and so yeah, keeping in mind, you know, that the learning is never done in the science of human nature, and so.
But you work one-on-one and with businesses, correct?
Work one-on-one, businesses, communities, and training other change agents. So we have a course coming up starting in Los Angeles on October 13th. It's a 6-month certification training change agents of the world. So people who are called to learn more of positive psychology, it's called the Certificate in Applied Positive Psychology, offered through the Flourishing Center. And it's
And the Flourishing
wonderful.
Center based out of Penn?
No, the Flourishing Center based out of New York City. And yeah, so we offer the course in different cities. This will be our first Southern California cohort. It's kind of like yoga teacher training, where some people take it for their deepening of their own practice, and others take it because they want to teach yoga. So we get both. We get folks that are there for personal development, others for professional development, many people for both.
Nice. Thank you so much for all your work. How can they find you?
flourishingcenter.com for the course, at louisaloro.com for coaching or any type of organizational development, leadership development.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you
so much. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more. Good morning, La La Land.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.
We are live from Los Angeles. This is Good Morning La La Land. Thank you so much for joining us. We've had a fantastic sort of series of conversations around wealth, like true wealth, what leads to wealth, what does wealth do for you? And the question I have for everyone today is, if there's one tip you would give people to achieve greater true wealth in their life, what would you recommend? Let's start with you.
Yeah, I would say rather than focusing on the money, I think it's more so focus on yourself, understand your story first, and then create a vision off of that story and kind of bring it down to an impact statement of what you want to do for the world, and the money will find you. It's simple.
Love that.
I would say inquiry over advocacy. So just be curious. Curiosity is one of the biggest markers of positivity. So if you could ask a question versus making a statement, it'll just keep you more open to being led.
Oh, that's huge. That's huge for almost any conversation, particularly difficult conversations, by the way.
My advice would be to work. We work hard on our businesses and we work hard on our lives, but I think you should work harder on yourself than you do on your business.
Absolutely.
I think that it's about strength and structure. You need to go in and find what you are most passionate about and identify that, and then use the structure to express that and make sure that you're congruent with it.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing. We are Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show. Don't forget you can listen to all your favorite interviews available as a podcast on iTunes.
That's right. We're waking up the world together. Have a wonderful Wednesday, Wealth Wednesday, knowing it is all within. Have a beautiful day, you guys.
It's going to be a good morning.